What is going on, everybody? Happy Victory Monday to all that celebrate. Welcome back to NFL Turf Talk here on DSM Media's Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter channels. You guys know the drill. If you're new to the channel, head on over to @DSM_media on Twitter. Hit that follow button and check out the link in the link tree in our bio. It'll take you to every social media platform we are available on. Head on over to the DSM Media YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button, like this video, whatever you guys got to do. We are on the road to 700. We appreciate each and every one of you. I am one half of your host here on Turf Talk, Dylan Davis. You can find me on Twitter @DylanJD98. To my right, my faithful co-host Scotty. Check him out on Twitter @ScottyDrown. And the Philadelphia Eagles are 6-0 after a 26-17 victory over those dirty, disgusting cockroaches of those Dallas Cowboys team and those fans, man. But this show is going to be interesting. So we are not live for everybody that's going to be watching. If you're commenting, we're not getting any comments. This is pre-recorded because we are having such a busy time here on DSM Media tonight and tomorrow, after possibly the greatest weekend in Philly sports history in my lifetime, between the Phillies and the Eagles, and the freaking Flyers are 2-0. I have no idea what's happening. Life's not real at the moment.
Got to catch up with that. Yeah.
But first and foremost, me and you have a job to do here, and that is to talk about this Eagles-Cowboys game, because the goalposts have moved, man, and it's no surprise. And it's not by us. It's not by other Eagles fans. It's not by a lot of national people. It's just, those cockroaches, those Dallas Cowboys fans, man. And we knew it would happen, right? So I have one thing to say, and then I'm gonna let you go first. And I'm gonna digest everything, and then I gotta process my thoughts. But here's where I stand. For the last 4 weeks, Scotty, the Dallas Cowboys have found ways to win with their backup quarterback, right? They've played good defense. We know all about that defensive line and Micah Parsons. They've ran the ball well. Said backup quarterback hadn't had a turnover throughout the first 4 weeks. So the narrative changed. And it changed so much so that people wanted to argue if Dallas is better off with Dak Prescott on the sideline. Do they play a better brand of football, a cleaner brand of football with Cooper Rush? And then on Sunday night, the Philadelphia Eagles turned Cooper Rush over not once, not twice, but 3 times, making him look like the pedestrian backup quarterback that we said he is. And instead of, the Eagles getting props for turning said backup quarterback over, it's, the backup quarterback threw 3 picks and you only won by 9 points. Their narrative changed right back to, well, if Dak Prescott plays, it's a different game. If Dak Prescott plays, the Eagles lose last night. Congrats on beating Cooper Rush by only 9 points. Guys, I don't know if you know this. The spread was 6.5. Like, that should tell you all. It was never going to be. It was never going to be a 28-point blowout, even though it was on pace to do so at halftime, 20-3. But it was never supposed to be that. So, and that was with Cooper Rush starting the entire time. We all knew this would happen. We knew the narrative would flip-flop because that's what a cockroach fan base does. That's what they do, Scotty. But it's not. I'm not mad at it. I'm not upset at it. How can we be when we knew it was going to happen?
Yeah.
I'm genuinely curious. I asked you this earlier on Twitter. I'm just genuinely curious of the basic human thought process. Like, we as Eagles fans, man, I'm on here all the time with you. I have to admit when I'm wrong. We have to admit when we're wrong. Acknowledge when you're wrong. I don't move the goalpost because the outcome isn't what I wanted it to be or what I predicted it to be. So when you want to do all this all week, you want to talk to me about how they better not lose to that backup quarterback, how that defensive line is nothing the Eagles and Jalen Hurts have seen, and all that gets put to bed real effing quick. Now the goalpost moved. If Dak Prescott was healthy, they would win this game. People on ESPN this morning said if Dak Prescott was healthy, or when Dak Prescott becomes healthy, the Dallas Cowboys will be the best team in the NFC after a 9-point loss on Sunday Night Football.
I don't get it. And there's all these loops and holes in all of these statements that are coming from Cowboys fans, the media, whoever's boasting around that this was not a successful victory for the Eagles. A 9-point victory. Like you said, they covered the spread. They did exactly what they're supposed to. And to your point about just this cockroach mentality, crawling out of the cracks, fair weather fandom, That is what the Cowboys live and breathe on. And exactly what you're pointing to as far as what we do, right? Yes, we're Eagles fans. We host an NFL, podcast. We talk about sports constantly. We're giving our takes constantly. Sometimes it may come across that it's biased according to the Eagles.
A lot of times we're wrong.
What is the one thing that we do when the Eagles screw up, when the Eagles go out and lose a game?
Hold
if the Eagles go
accountable.
out and lose to the Cowboys and Cooper Rush last night, do you think we're going to be yelling across the country to the Cowboys fans that the Eagles right. should have won by more? They should have done this.
Well,
done
Lane
that.
Johnson got hurt at halftime, so yeah.
Like, no, we don't hand these excuses out to our team, and that's what ultimately makes us one of the most and best fan bases in the world, because we do hold our team accountable. Take all that negative energy that you're shooting over to Eagles fans and send that over to the Cowboys, to Jerry Jones that is throwing up all of this contemplation on Dak Prescott and Cooper Rush. I agree. We knew going into that game Cooper Rush was ass. He's a backup quarterback. He's ass. That's what it is. They've been taking advantage of these beat-up teams this entire season.
You're right.
And I'm not giving them credit for that shit no more. Is their defense good or not? Because we ran a 15-play, 80-yard drive down their throats with our fully healthy offensive line, and they could do nothing about it. Nothing.
No.
So is your defense good or not?
I'll give the credit, because here's the thing. I get what you're saying, and you have to limit the expectations. Got too high, because we come on here and it's okay. Well, the Cowboys keep winning, and their defense looks ferocious, and their D line is legit, right? And the pass rush is legit. But when you talk about the offensive lines that they played, they got to Jalen Ford. They got him down 4 times. I'll give you all the props in the world for the 4 sacks. Congratulations.
They played
Trayvon Diggs.
Right?
Trayvon Diggs got picked on. Trayvon Diggs got picked on. And when the Eagles wanted to, and we'll get to the game in a second. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself and jumble my thoughts here. But the last thing about the narrative and the fan base is I will give Cooper Rush and the Cowboys the credit. When they started out the season 0-1 and Dak went out for a decent amount of time. We're going on week 6 now that he's missed, right? I thought they'd be done. They're not just done. They're 4-2. They won 4 straight games. They've played a winning brand of football. But all that being said, everyone let the expectation increase. That I asked you this before, like the Eagles never lost a game before last night. The Eagles are still undefeated. So just because the Cowboys continued to win with a backup quarterback, when did the Eagles go from, in a lot of people's minds, the best team in the NFC East or the best team in the NFC, and the Cowboys were here? The Eagles don't lose, Scotty. They never lose a game throughout this time period.
Why did they float down to where the Cowboys are?
But the gap was bridged this much. And now it's like, oh, they're even, or the Cowboys might be better with the health.
How do you
when
come
did
to
this
that
happen?
conclusion?
And last night showed all you need. I don't know, man. I really don't. Again, they want to talk about we handed you the ball. Another point about holding your team accountable. Well, we handed you the ball on the 30-yard line. Hold your head coach accountable. That's your own team's fault. All they had to do was slow down and let the play and challenge it, or let the officials challenge it. No, his dumbass went hurry up and tried to, and he didn't even try to sneak it. I forget what they tried. Oh, they rolled Cooper Rush out. They didn't even run the ball on 4th and 1. So don't take, we handed you the ball. No, hold your head coach accountable.
And that's my thing. That's my thing. Like, and let me take back what I said. You do have to give them credit. You are right. The Cowboys have played good football. Even last night, they played some good football at times in that game. The Eagles just played more good football, better, right? That's how it's been. But my thing is, either your defense is good and the Eagles put up 26 points, or it can't be both things at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, they're saying that our offense is bad because they only were able to score off 3 turnovers. But then on the other end, we'll say that their offense gave us the ball on defense. So, like, it can't be both. Either our defense is really good or our offense is really good, or both are really good. But there's no way that both can be bad, but you turn the ball over and lose this game. That doesn't make sense. It's inconsistent, and it's weird. And my one last thing before we actually get to the content of the game, well, 2 things. Chris Collinsworth, my God, It is ridiculous, my dude.
You didn't want Landon Dickerson coming down your throat.
I mean, that's beside the point. That dude is something else. We can kind of leave it there.
It's just so clip-worthy, bro. There's always something.
He's something else. The one last thing I'll say, just about fans, players, that organization, before we get to the actual game contents here. All bark, no bite. They were talking all week. DeMarcus Lawrence talking to the media.
By the way, JP,
isn't like
what
that,
happened?
Hasn't played us.
He got hurt last night because it wasn't even talked about on the
sideline
cheerleading. All of a sudden, he was out of the game. So all of that, the most fight that Cowboys team showed me last night was when someone double leg took down Jason Kelce at the end of the game. And again, that's why I love my head coach, man. That's why I love Nick Sirianni. I am a high energy, fired up kind of guy. When shit like that happens, when Jason Kelce gets taken down last night,
I would say that too.
I'm off my couch, bro, freaking out, saying a lot of stuff, right? As if I'm like some 6'6", muscled out dude that could, you know what I mean? Like I'm talking a lot of shit. But I love, like, Nick's going to stick up for his guys, and he's going to tell you how it is. And it was a dirty play. But
to your point, just speaking on coaching, obviously, once again, before we get to the game content, because this stuff is all interesting, right? This it's a joy to be on the victory side here.
It's amazing.
Looking at the discipline of each team, right? There's a couple instances in this game where it showed. Now, coaching showed up in this game. You mentioned the third down where CeeDee Lamb got the first down. We can all admit that. Just like who was it that got pushed in the back later in the game and that flag got
James Bratt? Yeah.
Well, first of all, admit that. Like,
hold the phone. Forget missing a call. Calls get missed all the time. Holding calls get missed. PIs get missed. Blah blah blah. The backs get missed. Bro, you threw the flag.
They called it. They saw it.
It was as textbook of a block, and he blocked him going towards his own end zone, which you're not allowed to do, in between the numbers on the back of my man's jersey. Extended the arms.
It was insane.
You discuss it, and somewhere along the way decided it wasn't a block in the back.
That was insane. It
wasn't like you missed the call. You throw the flag.
They got the call right, and then they totally went against it. And then Chris Collinsworth once again tried to like elaborate and make it seem like it maybe shouldn't have been a block in the back. And then Mike Pellis or Tom Pellis or whatever his name is from the league office comes in. He's like, no, that's a block in the back.
Yeah.
But what I was getting at with that, just kind of the discipline standpoint. First of all, Mike McCarthy, that's on him to challenge that play, as you mentioned. Take a timeout, run a better fourth down play, whatever you want to conclude that to. And then the other side, wouldn't you just punt the ball if your defense is so good? I wouldn't go for it a mile.
I tweeted that out. It was the biggest desperation move I've ever seen a team make
so early
in a first half.
So early. And the other thing, just the little things, Micah Parsons on that penalty. It is a penalty. I know it is stupid when you see guys celebrating all game, but you cannot direct it at one specific player. That's the rule.
And they threw the flag extremely late. Like no one.
You saw when he did that though. Yeah. Dallas Goedert just points to him. And same thing with Kelce. Gets tackled on the ground. No extra shoving. Just points at it. Yeah. That's discipline. That's coming into that game. Nick Sirianni has briefed these guys, got them ready for this matchup.
Talk about discipline.
Told them not, don't let them get you out of character. You got Trayvon Diggs crying in the end zone, slamming his helmet in the end zone. Like,
hold
on up.
You want to talk about discipline? You got a 4th and 4 with 8 seconds left in a quarter, and you allow the Eagles to pull out like the most, not basic because there's a lot going on, but did exactly what they wanted you to do when you jumped off sides. That's a lack of discipline. Moments. Yeah, man. Like, exactly what they're trying to do. It wasn't a hard count. All they did was, we're going to make it seem like Goddard's off bound. Goddard's moving. All he's doing is going in motion, brother. That's allowed. So the second you think he's coming, bang, you come across. Mailata grabs him off sides. Give me the first down. Give me 6 points. It's a lack of discipline. You're right. But let's get into the game because I'm done talking about the fan base. I'm done talking about the goalpost being moved because the bottom line is the Eagles went into this game and they took care of business from the jump. Right now, let's get the negative out of the way. The negative was there was a 3-4 series drive. There was one quarter, the third quarter, the Eagles got outplayed. Jonathan Gannon, that defense, sat back a little bit. A lot of missed tackles I was texting you about. They were able to move the ball up and down the field. I did not – the one drive, Cooper Rush went from his own 6 and went down and scored a touchdown. That cannot happen, right?
Yeah.
And then you talk about the offense. Just a lack of balance in the third quarter, right? So what do I mean by that? Overall, the numbers were great. They ran the ball like 33 times to 25 passes. But to start the second half, after you had success in the second quarter running the ball, you went 3 straight passes. Then you go 3 and out. Dallas scores. You come out on offense again and go run, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 6, whatever it was, bad play. You're punting again. I don't like the 3 straight passes, the 3 straight runs. Mix it together. That was it. It was 3-4 series. After that, the offense had a long, successful drive. Another late game clinic of a drive by them on the ground. The defense tightened up again. So at the end of the day, that third quarter didn't matter. But just some of the things we talked about on the pregame show that the Eagles were able to do offensively and defensively. I'll start on the offense with you. Good.
I was just wanted to comment, and you're going to talk about the offense anyways, but just to kind of further your point on that last drive specifically, take everything else out of the game. Cowboys need a stop. Eagles need some points. What happens? That's kind of as simple as it has to be for me. Right. Eagles impose their will once again. They did it in the second quarter. They did it in the fourth quarter. Those are two of the most important moments. Fourth quarter obviously being the most important. But go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
Oh, no, you're great. And then just talking about that last drive when they were able to run the ball down Dallas's throat, when they needed a big first down to extend the drive and not get Dallas the ball back with 6 or so minutes.
Yeah.
A.J. Brown with a humongous catch and run, breaks a tackle, picks up a big first down, stays in bounds. A lot of minor details you see with this team that were huge.
That's a new facet of the offense that we just haven't seen yet, right? That motion across with AJ. It's AJ Brown, right? This is
the touchdown play was the same thing.
Same exact play. Motion across. You have a decision to make, Micah Parsons. You either are going after Jalen Hurts, the running back, or you're going to let AJ Brown, run past you. And there's no chance he's keeping up with him. But new facet to the offense. It was beautiful. Unstoppable.
So 100%. And you mentioned Micah Parsons. So let's start there, right? Yeah. That was the biggest key / matchup / what to not do versus him, right? And he imposed his will a couple times. He got in the backfield and forced Jalen Hurts out. There's a couple times he was waiting on containment and just swallowed up the running back on the end. Like, he almost had a pick. Like, the kid was still all over the field. The bottom line is the Eagles took a different route against this Cowboys defense. And they did exactly what you and Phil said on the pregame show. Run right at – when he's in coverage, throw at him. Because that's not a strong. It's like Hassan Reddick. Probably a little bit better than Hassan Reddick, but it's like what we think of Hassan Reddick dropping back in coverage. It just doesn't work, right? So throw at him and then run at him. And that's exactly what the Eagles did all night long. And they not only ran at them, it's what we talked about with the RPO, Scotty, reading their eyes. And they can't just sit there and shoot the gap or shoot the edge and try to bull rush and get to him, because he's got to watch where the ball's going with that mobile quarterback. And it was ran to perfection 95% of the time. Maybe once or twice Jalen should have kept it or should have all right, it got blown up. Other than that, they read the edge rushers perfectly. They read Micah Parsons perfectly. They ran right at him, and they gashed Dallas's defense with the run, especially when it mattered most, man. So props off to Nick Sirianni and Jeff Stoutland. Props, hats off to Jack Driscoll as well. Like, Lane goes out. Hopefully he's okay with that concussion. But that is, like, again, we're not making excuses. We won the game, but it does change things when the best right tackle in football is not on that side of the line of scrimmage across from Micah Parsons. Jack Driscoll held his own. There was a play or two where Parsons threw him like a rag doll. Yeah. But other than that,
it's going to happen, though. Yeah. And that's a good point. Shout out to Jack Driscoll, because he's been thrown all over the place the last few weeks.
Left tackle, right tackle.
I mean, he's really fit to be a guard, right? Like, that's what his natural position seems to be. So he's helping us out across the board, and that speaks to Jeff Stoutland, the depth, and then also Driscoll. Just understanding each and every position on the offensive line, it makes you wonder, do all of these guys know that information? I would imagine with this type of offensive line coach, you would. But just to Oh, go ahead.
Just NFL news real quick. The Arizona Cardinals have traded for Panthers wide receiver Robbie Anderson.
Interesting. That quick.
And
Wow.
and Marquise Brown may be out for the season.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah. So
wow.
a big shift in Arizona. But sorry,
that is a big shift. No worries. What was I gonna say?
Yeah, no worries. You just threw me off my point.
We were talking about Jack Driscoll. We were talking about moving the offensive line around. Jeff Stoutland. Just the decision making, and this is exactly. I'm glad we got to that. So, what I was sitting here thinking, the game plan going into this game, and it's something that we talked about before the game as well. Not giving the Cowboys any opportunity to, one, get the lead, two, turnovers. They eliminated the chance of turnovers in that game, right? They kind of played it a little careful to a sense. And it ultimately worked out. You couldn't give this Cowboys this deficient at quarterback. Cowboys fans might not have thought that going into the game, but we knew what Cooper Rush was. We knew what the game plan had to be. And you ultimately could not give them short fields in order to score in our defense. So I would also give credit to Sirianni, them, for staying patient, staying calm, right? And just sticking to the offense. But to your point, just getting more consistent with the play call flow, getting more of a feel. And that will come with more experience. I think that will come throughout the season. These coaches are learning too. But in a game where we talk about discipline, we talk about, the play calling, game planning, Nick Sirianni just outcoached a Super Bowl winning head coach in Mike McCarthy. Now, I know we don't give a ton of credit to Mike McCarthy, and not that we should, but at the end of the day, this is a coach that comes with a ton of experience, and he simply got outcoached last night as well. And Sirianni is just hungry. He's a hungry coach. He's young. He wants this, and it just translates through this team. But I was thoroughly impressed for the most part with the overall game plan. I know there was some
100%.
Spots in there that
some lulls, some
third quarter.
The decision to go for the 2-point conversion in the fourth quarter, I didn't understand that whatsoever. And then you're going to go for it on the one. We all know what you love to do it at midfield. Why are you not QB sneaking it on the one? There's definitely some question marks throughout the game, but it's going to happen. Yeah.
But overall game plan, just like you said, running the ball, that's what we know we have to do with the Cowboys now, right? You go directly at Mika. You don't avoid him. You go directly at him and make him make plays. And he made some plays last night, right? I think he had 7 combined tackles, 2 pass deflections, a tackle for loss. Those aren't sacks. Those aren't game-wrecking plays. So we will live with those. Even his deflection on the third down against Goddard, it was a hell of a play. I will take that over a Micah Parsons sack any day of the week. And then, of course, he makes the bonehead choice to talk shit to Dallas Goedert. But I just love the overall game plan, and I love the new wrinkle with AJ because it's what I've always wanted as far as when you have a talented wide receiver, having an automatic way to get him the ball. There is no, hope he gets open down the field, hope he runs this correct route. He is coming through the backfield, and it is a dump-off pass to A.J. Brown in full motion, in full speed. So I love that wrinkle, and it just shows me they can add in so much more. We can start seeing that stuff. We've already seen it with Goddard, Quez, Smitty. They can just get so creative with this offense, and you saw parts of that last night. Just how they can game plan to the team they're playing, in a sense. It's very beautiful to see.
I think the biggest thing for me in terms of this offense is we knew it was going to be almost that different guy every week type of thing for the most part. There's so many mouths to feed. It's hard to get everyone the ball. But just the fact that they continue, again, it's not just continuing to find, they're 6-0. They have not been beaten yet. Yeah. And last night, Dallas Goedert had 22 yards receiving, no touchdowns. Quez Watkins, I don't believe, had a catch. Zach Pascal didn't have a catch. Yardage.
Yeah.
So it's watching that Lane Johnson gets hurt, right? There's so many pieces on this offense that just make you think they're still yet to play their best, cleanest.
Yeah, they have not hit their peak. That's the craziest part.
They left food on the table when the Cowboys get them field position. They come away with 3 points each time. They left a lot of food on the table, and they were still able to score 26 points last night. And it's been really fun to watch offensively.
I will ask you this, just as far as 2 things. Just as far as down the field, I know last night's probably not the game you want to try to see if you can go down the field and make plays,
Right.
big plays down the field. Does it concern you at all? Week in, week out, we see teams like the Chiefs, the Bills, they get their guys down the field on these long touchdowns. I'm not saying force it. I'm really not. I'm just asking a question. And as far as what you're seeing there, maybe it is that teams are trying to take the big play away. You know what I mean? I'm not sure. I watched the Bills yesterday, and they get the ball down the field to Diggs, and then same thing with the Chiefs. Different teams, different schemes, right?
Styles,
I get that, but
so
what are your thoughts there?
No, like I've seen them do it. Like week 1, they took a lot of shots down the field against Detroit.
Right.
I guess it only becomes not a concern. It becomes like, why aren't we attempting one when the offense gets sluggish, when the offense gets into a little bit of a lull? Like in the third quarter, nothing's really going. They get 2, 3 and outs. It's like, why not try to take the top off the defense when Dallas is coming up and trying to stack the box a little bit more and the safeties are playing up? Why not? Like, you have Quez Watkins, bro.
Yeah.
You have one of the fastest guys in the NFL. You have a big target in A.J. Brown who can win a lot of one-on-one matchups at the beginning of a route, right? So it's weird, but I wouldn't say it's a concern when you see how high-powered this offense can be and just what they want to do. And we talk about yesterday's show, a lack of identity with some teams. Maybe that's what the Eagles' identity. This is their offense. This is their scheme. This is their game plan week to week. They can take the top off of defense sometimes, but they don't feel it necessary. Yeah, exactly. 100%. They're going to punch you in the mouth. They're going to be physical with you. And that's kind of their identity.
And in the last 2 weeks, we've been going against, these blitz heavy defenses. So that could be part of it as well. Teams starting to blitz Jalen Hurts more just because they think it will affect him differently. My other question to you, AJ Brown snaps. He was down a little bit from Devontae Smith once again. Devontae Smith out snaps him. Do you think that that's just like precautionary for usage, like injury type? Based on his past history with injuries and missing games do you think anything feeds into that? Or is Devontae Smith just a better blocker? I
don't know.
What's the reasoning for that?
And I pointed this out to him. Listen, I don't know what their personnel packages, all of them look like, but I pointed this out to my stepdad last night watching the game. There were multiple occasions, and the one came on the Miles Sanders rushing touchdown. They run 2 or 3 tight ends, and Quez Watkins was the only wide receiver on the field.
Interesting.
Guess what the play was? A run.
Yeah.
So for further notice for people, if you see 2 or 3 tight ends on the end of a line of scrimmage and Quez Watkins out wide on the left, load the box because it's coming. So I don't know what their personnel packages, what the reasoning behind them is. If I watch the tape and go back, maybe it is more running. It is a lot more run heavy when Devontae's only out there and they give AJ a break on those plays. I don't know.
Disguise.
Exactly. But it's definitely, we sit here and you're like, well, why isn't the most talented guy on the field more than other? Like week 1 when we're talking like, oh, well, Jordan Davis's snap counts to others. It doesn't, but whatever. Defense.
Jordan Davis.
Though, man.
Yeah.
Because this is another big week by Jonathan Gannon and this defense, regardless of what we thought of the opposing quarterback heading into it. Hold on to 17 points. Again, I said there were 2 drives, and we can nitpick at those 2 drives, and we can criticize those 2 drives. I did not like seeing Cooper Rush and Ezekiel Elliott move the ball down the field 94 yards and end it with 6 points and a lot of missed tackles. They were ugly. But at the end of the day, 17 points.
Is that same drive? Is that 94-yard drive? Was that the one where CGJ went out? Came in, or was that the drive after?
No, I believe they were mixed in right then and there. Things got ugly for a second when he was out. By the way, he had Kayvon Wallace. Like we talked about it in the preseason. Like he probably shouldn't even be on the roster. Practice squad guy maybe. But he's your backup at the moment, so you're really thin that safety. And it was scary for a second to see, but CGJ, my goodness, the last 2 weeks and specifically last night, just showing you why. Like, thank you, New Orleans, thank you to have that playmaker at the back, that diving pick, dude. Brandon Graham, all the props in the world. All the props in the world to the pass rush and Brandon Graham. If Cooper Rush doesn't get hit, if he has time, that's potentially a touchdown. Bottom line is throw was affected, severely underthrown, and here he comes laying out to basically salt the game away with that pick. The first pick he has. The first pick
didn't even think about
James Bradberry. I know he slipped on that play, actually. He slipped where Lamb would have had the touchdown pass, but my God, is he not maybe the best acquisition we picked? Like AJ Brown's amazing, CGJ, James Bradberry across, and then Darius Slay with his interception last night. Kaiser White filling gaps and all over the field and breaking up passes. Marcus Epps diving and swatting away a pass on the sideline. Like to me, my takeaway from last night is regardless of the thin safeties, this is the best secondary I can remember the Eagles having. It's by far the best cornerback duo I can remember them having. And you throw in that playmaker in Gardner Johnson back over the top. It makes it just.
And I think that's why it's so frustrating when we watch like that third quarter spell where they're getting up yardage, because at other moments in the game, they're so all over.
We just got spoiled for 2 quarters of shutdown football. How is this happening?
Why are they moving the ball? Why
in reality, it's just the nature of the game, right?
Football,
like part of it's Gannon and getting soft, and part of it's missed tackles. But it's like, listen, man, unless you're expecting a shutout every week, teams are going to find ways to move the ball here and there, even if at the end of the day, if you're going to win the game. So
CGJ, he's got to be one of my favorite, if not my favorite Eagle right now,
man.
Dog,
dude. And
he's
that
dog,
picture,
man.
That picture of him up on the wall with everyone behind him. That might have to go in a museum, because that is ridiculous.
I got a question for you. Extension priority list, because it's long. And
I did see a tweet go ahead, read them.
How do you decide who to extend? Where does the line get drawn? I mean, this is going to be a tough.
And it's all on the defense. It's CGJ, James
Kaiser,
Bradberry, Kaiser White, TJ Edwards,
Hargrave and Cox.
Hargrave and Cox, 100%. Cox, obviously, you're looking to bring back because of that leadership value, the veteran on the team, and he still has a little bit left in the tank. Hargrave, I'm less concerned about. He's probably at the bottom of my list because of the Jordan Davis of the world, because of the Milton Williams of the world, and the depth on the defensive line.
Jordan Davis was a monster last night, getting national recognition for being double teamed. They could not run the football.
But Scotty, you didn't have a sack, and
here we go.
Bradberry, man, is going to get a bag. Like, I don't know what to do.
I know.
You just have to hope that he wants to be here.
That he loves the system, the scheme. You know what I mean? Like playing
but
with
he's
Slay.
going to get a bag playing the way he is, dude. CGJ with all these turnovers. Like, those two, to me, are the top priority. But then
Which
you get
one
to
would you
linebacker.
pick if you had to pick one of those two?
Oh, my God.
Feels like safety is what we're so much weaker
I know,
at,
but then when you look at the 2 draft picks potentially, I gotta go with Bradberry, man.
It's harder to find.
But then that's another thing. If you lose Bradberry, but you keep CGJ, he's a nickel corner. But we already have a nickel corner. It's so tough. I would say Bradberry 1, CGJ 1A, 1B. Like whatever. It's going to be impossible to keep all these guys. But then you get to the Kaiser Whites of the world and the TJ Edwards. Now, again, I talked about on the defensive line, Jordan Davis. Nakobe Dean's sitting there as well. Nakobe Dean's going to get his chance to play at some point. But when you look at the production both of these dudes are giving you, my message, enjoy the season, Eagles fans.
That's a good way to put it.
Like
Miles Sanders on that list too, obviously.
They're not going to lose everybody, Scotty, but they're going to lose some guys. You have to hope that this team can put together a special run and have that camaraderie. But even then, dude, when you look at Super Bowl teams, what happened? The roster is never the same because guys get paid as much as they love the winning and the atmosphere.
Could very well lose our defensive coordinator as well, right? You know what I mean? Like they could go along with him wherever he goes. Like we just never know. There's no way to. There's no way to predict this, but you got to take advantage.
Live in the moment. Enjoy James Bradberry and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and Kaiser White for all that they're worth for the moment, and hope and pray that Howie and that can work his magic contractually, and that they love the city and they love the team, and we'll see, man.
Yeah, I mean, CGJ does have a Dream Chasers tattoo, so
he does, and I'm pretty sure Meek's sending
him
a chain too.
There we go. Yeah, so we can pay him in other ways. We can get.
There you go. Yeah, it's like James Harden, right? Like James Harden took the
Right.
discount, but James Harden's probably getting paid somewhere else.
Michael Rubin.
We'll see, man. 35 minutes in. Anything else on this Cowboys-Eagles game before we move on to the rest?
The Birds are the best. Slate. The Cowboys suck. No, it was a good game nonetheless. It played out kind of how I expected it to. Got a little tight there at the end, but nonetheless, they showed they're the better team with that final drive. And I'm happy with where we stand going into the bye week, man. This is a perfect way to go into it. And by 100%. The way, once again, just to reiterate it, a 9-point win over the Dallas Cowboys is not a fail. They did cover the spread by more than the spread. It was a success, to me, dude. Nonetheless, success.
It makes
don't overthink it.
But anyway, a little break in the action here, Scotty, because as you guys know, we're streaming to you guys on DSM Media's YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook channel. And DSM Media is now proudly brought to you by Gents Barber Lounge. Check out one of 2 great locations in Fishtown and Old City and book your appointment today. Gents owns the craft and it shows. Rated the #1 barbershop on Yelp in the Philadelphia area, having multiple award-winning barbers and being able to handle any style of cut, adult or kid. Take a look at some of Gents' great work. Head on over to www.gentsbarberlounge.com to book your appointment today. Again, that is gentsbarberlounge.com to book your appointment today in Fishtown or Old City. Scotty, Eagles obviously cap off a great afternoon of Sunday football. We got to sit back and relax and enjoy some football. However, I can only speak for myself, but from talking to you throughout the day, I don't think the day went as planned. I don't think the gambling went as planned. I don't think our picks went as planned. Our predictions went as planned. And here's what I kind of want to do. I'm not going to sit here and break down this ridiculously played out game-by-game slate. But before we get into the Bills and the Chiefs, because that one obviously really sticks out, and we can pinpoint a couple others, I got to lump the upsets together and kind of get to the inconsistency and the up and downs because – dude, I don't remember. There's been a lot of upsets through the first 5 weeks of the season. I don't remember a singular day, one Sunday, that has held this many. It was such a weird afternoon of football, specifically the 1 o'clock hour. You had the Atlanta Falcons beating the San Francisco 49ers 28-14. Now, I know San Fran was missing like 6 or 7 guys on the defensive side of the ball. No Nick Bosa to enter the game. My goodness, I don't know what I watched there. Bailey Zappi and the New England Patriots rout, destroy, dominate the Cleveland Browns on the road 38-15. Scotty, I don't even know where to begin with this team. The Green Bay Packers lose by 17 points to Zach Wilson and the New York Jets, 27-10.
Wasn't close.
Lamar Jackson throws a late game interception after almost fumbling the game away, and the New York Giants come from behind and improve to 5-1, 24-20 over the Baltimore Ravens. I'm not even done yet. The Pittsburgh Steelers and Kenny Pickett find a way to beat Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 20-18. And dude, this wasn't like the Giants where they came from behind and won in the final few minutes. They had the lead the entire game.
Yep.
And to wrap it all up, this one is less of an upset than the others because of it's a divisional game. But the Seattle Seahawks beat Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals 19-9. They held them to 9 points. Dude. That's Seattle. That's not a good Seattle defense. Yeah. And Kyler Murray and company scored 9 points. How many games did I just read? 1, 2, 3,
6,
4, 5, 6. Are you joking? Well, what happened to like a Sunday just full of chalk, man? Like just me
as the old days,
just giving me what I want, man. Like, oh my goodness.
I mean, I'm betting some of these games individually and still like losing, man. Like it's not the way this is supposed to go. Dude. Vegas knows something that we do not. And the thing is, next week, like for instance, okay, maybe the Pats are for real and maybe the Browns just stink, whatever the case. No, the Browns will come back next week. And then they'll go and beat somebody that they're not supposed to. And then next week, right, the Jets will fall to somebody that they shouldn't fall to after they beat the Green Bay Packers, right? It's just so weird this season, and and I think yesterday was the accumulation of it all, like coming full circle, and it all just happening at the same time and raining
Just
down on
punched me
us.
in the mouth, dude.
Oh my god, it took all my earnings away from Saturday, man. That was the worst
I need
part.
to stop. When are we going to learn our lesson? I talked to you about this multiple for the last. First of all, every week, but more specifically, once playoff baseball started in college football. If I would only bet Thursday to Saturday through Saturday night, I would be up so much money. No,
Yeah.
I turn around and I think I have all this football, this NFL knowledge because I know more about the NFL, a lot more about the NFL than I do about college, about playoff baseball is very unpredictable. It's tough to predict, to bet, blah, blah, blah. And here I am up, Friday, Saturday, crashing and burning on
baseball
Sunday.
Has been beautiful. Playoff baseball has been beautiful. It's been wonderfully
treating me well.
Lucrative. College football the same, man. Last 2 Saturdays have been great, and then the Sundays just spoil it all, man. It has been rough in the betting world. I think the only one I won in the 1 o'clock slate was Cincinnati. I picked them by spread 3.5.
The only bet I won in the 1 o'clock slate was a Mike Gesicki anytime touchdown score. And even that made me want to vomit because I didn't lay the 2+ at plus 8,000. I laid the 1 for plus 400 or whatever I got it at. So great. I want some money. Right. I mean, doesn't that kind of wrap it all up? The weirdness of the day, right? The Miami Dolphins had 3 points through 3.5 quarters on Sunday afternoon. Mike Gesicki scores those 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Like, what do these people know? Like, where's the crystal ball that like this just had you? Oh, I see this playing out. And here I am. I can't predict the Niners to cover 3.5 against the effing Falcons. So
the Falcons uncoverable.
I guess the story here, Scotty, is don't take our advice. Do the opposite.
Do not put your money into our advice.
The opposite of what you and I are doing on Sundays. And
we'll let you know when we start winning.
I'm going to turn around tonight, and tonight's got to be my night, right? The Chargers and the Broncos got to be my night.
It's got to. I can't resist.
So, all right. Lots of upsets, lots of inconsistency across the board. A couple other games. The Colts find a way to win against the Jacksonville Jaguars, 34-27. I didn't. Let me know if you had that on your bingo card of the highest scoring game of the afternoon. The Cincinnati Bengals, like as you mentioned, you had them. They come from behind. Jamar Chase, thank you. As a fantasy owner, Jamar Chase. They win 30-26. Also, as an Eagles fan, shout out New Orleans for the higher draft pick. The Rams, it was 10-10 at halftime. Things were looking shaky. They pull away in the second half. They take care of business. They cover against Carolina at home 24-10. And then the game of the week, man. The Kansas City Chiefs fall to Josh Allen and Bills Mafia 24-20. Josh Allen throws a touchdown pass with 1 minute and 4 seconds left. And the polar opposite of the ending of the AFC divisional round in that long drive by Mahomes. Nope. 1 play or 2 plays with the penalty. Pick. Game over. What's your takeaway here? Because we talked about this game at length throughout the week. This was obviously outside the Eagles game for us, our game of the week. It was a very, like, those two dudes were dueling throughout the whole game. Both went over 320, 330 passing yards, both making big time plays. Travis Kelce stepping up, Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs stepping up. It felt like a playoff atmosphere. Yeah. But did the tide turn at all? Like I spoke about, like, finally Josh Allen beats Patrick Mahomes 1-on-1. Finally, the Bills get that win, and not at home. They do it in Arrowhead. It's week 6. It's not the Super Bowl. It's not the AFC Championship. But how big of a win is this for the Bills?
It's huge. It's a huge win for the Bills. Confidence-wise, going into the playoffs, now you know, right? You can beat them in Arrowhead. You can beat them in Buffalo. But I would still say it's not like beating them in the playoffs, though. That is still another hump that they're going to have to face down the road. And hopefully, this will propel them to get the 1 seed over Kansas City so you can play that game in Buffalo with your fans, your weather, right? Especially in the postseason. But nonetheless, confidence-wise, as far as putting the league on notice, this was a huge win. And I think it was about the way that it happened, right? 24-20. That's not the highest scoring affair that you've seen between these two. And ultimately it shows you, like, to me, the difference between these two teams and what each and every time these teams play and these quarterbacks go head to head, it's going to come down to patience and turnovers, right? And those feed into each other as far as patience and turnovers. Yep. Patrick Mahomes threw the 2 interceptions in this game. Josh Allen did not throw any. He did have the fumble with McKenzie earlier on in the game.
Josh Allen hasn't thrown an interception in like his last 4 games.
He's so patient, man. He's so patient compared to like his approach as far as like being aggressive and
the gunslinger
hurdling
mentality.
over. Yeah, he's so patient and careful with the ball. And I think that was the element that this team was missing. As you get down the stretch, he's just not going to turn the ball over. And that's what you need. That's what you need from your QB1. Along with the long touchdown throws, the hurdling over defenders. He's got it all. And I'm still not sure I want to like say, oh, Josh Allen is better than Patrick Mahomes. I'm not sure that game really showed that. What it really showed me was that the Bills just have a better team in reality, right? They have a better defense. They have a better set of weapons around Josh Allen. It's fairly close on that end, but and Tyreek Hill, that is the game breaker that you are missing on your offense in the Chiefs. Juju had a hell of a game. You called that, so kudos to you.
Hey, great.
He had over 100 receiving yards. I know, man. What are the odds, man? Because you hammered for Juju, and I don't know. For some reason, I assumed you would, but obviously, I don't know. I
just
don't
threw
know,
it out
man.
in the ether and let it float out there, and I just didn't do anything about it.
But he did eat, man. But I do think the Chiefs are missing that explosion piece where at the end of the game, Tyreek Hill is a guy that you can give the ball short yardage down, and he can take it to the house. So just having that around, it completely changes the game plan. But I wouldn't hold it so much against the quarterbacks, although Mahomes, he did throw the game sealing, I should say,
interception
pick. It comes down to that. Bills defense a little bit better surrounding cast, but these quarterbacks are top class.
Which is crazy to think about how banged up their secondary is.
Yeah, that is the crazy part.
It's the scary part, right?
It's the scary part.
Listen, it's a big win for them,
Tre'Davious
right?
White
Now,
has not played.
I agree with you. This is not the Josh Allen surpassing Patrick Mahomes as the league's best. The Bills do have the better team. They are higher on my power rankings. They'll continue to be higher on my power rankings. Obviously, win. They are the odds-on Super Bowl favorites. Like we sit here, and the Eagles are undefeated, and they're very complete. But there's just something about Josh Allen and the Bills and the explosiveness and the defense that are like, are they the best team? Like, are the Eagles? Like, it's a tough conversation to have. God.
You do have to ask yourself, when you compare these quarterbacks, like when you get down to the nitty, it is a combo, at least I would say at this point. Just because Josh Allen's running ability, right? And he did show the patience yesterday to not turn the ball over. So it is a conversation.
It's a barometer, and they passed that test yesterday. There is a difference when it comes to the postseason, and these two just seem to be on a collision course right now in the regular season. And if it does nothing else, what it'll do is give the Bills that confidence that there's no more sour taste from that divisional round last year. We know we can beat these guys. They're not the same offense. They don't have Tyreek. We don't have to worry about Tyreek Hill. Our defense is better. If they continue to win more than they're going to have the home field. It's not going to be played in Arrowhead. So a lot. This game was big for many, many reasons. It felt so Brady and Manning-esque, that matchup, and that's just what you hope for as a football fan with these two going forward. But it does not mean that I think like the Bills are hands down, like the best team or the better team, and they're going to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. They obviously have a great opportunity to now, though, and it showed me that for sure. Josh Allen, the fact that he has such a lethal and strong arm, Scotty, but like you mentioned earlier, he's so patient and protective with the football. Yeah. It's a very rare combination. And to have that arm strength, to have that accuracy, but to also not really turn the ball over a ton.
I know. And that, just thinking of Josh Allen and kind of the recognition that he had throughout that game yesterday, you got your wide receiver out there one-on-one with the rookie corner. And maybe it comes with time, right? it's what I'm wondering about this Eagles offense is that an element that maybe is coming soon, where we look to the outside, we see Smitty's one-on-one with a corner that, he should most likely beat. Do you just launch that up there for him? Because that's full trust. That's full chemistry. He's throwing the ball up. Gabe Davis, Stephon Diggs, it does not matter. He's throwing it up there for them to make a play.
I think
so that's the element that I'm waiting for with
so,
the Eagles offense, but maybe it is an identity thing, like you said earlier.
But more so than anything, that is on Jalen Hurts and the pre-snap identification and recognition of what's happening. And he had a play like that last night. I forget what he checked into, but it like the play clock was dwindling down and he called something out, blah, 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 got it, delivered, big play. So he started, and he did it against Arizona for the third down pass to Goddard. So he's getting better at it. But those
learning,
like you said, you mentioned Smitty. If AJ Brown's one-on-one on the outside and there's a single high safety leaning to the other side of the field, right?
Yeah.
Check that.
Yeah.
Because I'm coming to you right now.
And I
trust and he has the trust in his best friend in AJ Brown.
Yeah.
AJ Brown can win that route. AJ Brown's the bigger target. Just put it where he can make a play and see what happens. But that's all, that's him gaining confidence. That's Jalen Hurts gaining experience, because that comes with time. Being able to check out of what your play caller or your coach told you, like, here's the play, and you're going to say, nah, hold on. That's experience. That's confidence. You're starting to see it come down, come with time. But nonetheless, we seem to be in for a fun run, man. Before we wrap up tonight, this show, we do have a Monday Night Football matchup to get into. We are pre-recording this, so sad. I don't have any plays unless we're building one live. I have not put any parlays in yet.
I have one. I did put one together. I don't know if I'm going to send it, so I'll just get your thoughts on it, but nothing in stone yet.
So we had the Denver Broncos and the LA Chargers AFC West battle. The Broncos are yet again on primetime television. I don't know who decided this was a good idea. I mean, I guess no one foresaw the issues they were going to have. But maybe we'll get a divisional, battle here tonight. The spread's sitting at 4. My mind and my eyes immediately go to the Chargers. At home, Justin Herbert's another week healthy. Austin Eckler's starting to get into a rhythm within the offense. Keenan Allen's becoming healthy. I know the Broncos defense has been the more steady part of this team so far. I think Justin Herbert has some success tonight at home.
Yeah.
I like the Chargers to cover the 4. If there's a storyline within this game, it is, can Russell Wilson and this Denver Bronco offense start to hit a little bit of a stride? You're getting to that point now where we all knew it would take time. There would be ups and downs and some ugly moments in a new system, new scheme, new quarterback, everything, new targets. You're at the end of week 6 here, man, and you're in a division with the team you're playing tonight, the Chargers, with the Kansas City Chiefs. It's time to start to figure things out. You're down Javonte Williams for the season, so I'll be looking for that. My answer, no. I think you're going to see them continue to struggle.
Yeah, and to your point, it is a game where you would want the Broncos to show up, and maybe they will. I'm not going to discount anything after the weekend we just experienced, but my mind immediately goes to the fact that Broncos are 2-3, Chargers are 3-2. You can literally jump ahead of the Chargers in the standings just by winning tonight, right? In LA, I believe it is tonight. No Keenan Allen as well. He's still not back, so that is one advantage the Broncos have there. But can the Broncos score enough points? Like, that's what it's going to come down to for them this season, and they haven't been able to. Last week, Thursday Night Football, it was Colts and Broncos. All the Broncos had to do was score more than 12 points against the Colts, and they win that game. They could not do that. I think the Chargers have a better defense.
All Russell Wilson
had a better pass rush.
All Russell Wilson had to do was find the open receiver over the middle of the field, and he looked the other way.
Yeah, so as far as, like, why would that change tonight? Chemistry, maybe, right? Maybe they turn the tide and they start to look like a normal football team. They have a really bad coach. I'm not a fan. I know you aren't either. I am not a fan of little Nathaniel Hackett. He's a scrub. But this Broncos team is just not fun to watch, and it's because their offense just simply isn't good. They don't make good personnel decisions. They don't make good play calls. And Russell Wilson just hasn't looked good at all, quite honestly. So that's my biggest question going into this game. Can the Broncos just score enough points to keep up? Because that's one thing the Chargers will do. They will score points. And I do agree with you. I think Justin Herbert, he kind of gets back to normal. They're getting more normal each week, right? Getting him healthier, getting some of their guys back. So I am looking for Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler and company to kind of control this game and just score enough points so that the Broncos can't keep up with you. But I do think the Chargers are going to get some pass rush going on Russell Wilson and going to give him nightmares once again. I do like Austin Eckler in this game. I think they can ultimately, if you can keep the offense balanced, that's ultimately how you're going to expose this Broncos defense. And Austin Eckler finally exploded last week. I believe it was against the Browns. Him and Nick Chubb went at it last weekend. So I'm looking for more of the same. You get him involved in the pass. It just makes everybody's lives easier. Justin Herbert's and company makes everybody's lives easier when you get the run game going, get your star running back going. So, yeah, I'm with you. I'm going Chargers. I just don't see it with the Broncos. But once again, I'll say it again. After yesterday, after how this season has gone, us sitting here saying that, go smash the Chargers, right? They'll come out here and lose. So we will certainly see. Anything could happen in a division game, but I'm riding with the Chargers tonight.
So I agree with you. I'm going Chargers tonight. I like the Chargers to cover. The only thing I have in right now on this game is DraftKings boosted Justin Herbert to throw at least one passing touchdown to plus 100. Of course, it's only a $25 max. Of course, they don't let it be that little 50 banger, but I get where they're coming from, taking that from minus 800 to plus 100. So lay that. Justin Herbert's going to find the end zone tonight. You would hope. Watch Austin Eckler will have 4 rushing touchdowns, and that's how they'll score all their points.
They know they know something we don't.
Yeah, right. It's very simple for me though. Justin Herbert cannot turn the ball over tonight because Denver's defense is the focal point, is the positive part of their team right now. Pat Surtain is for real, which makes you think if Keenan Allen's not playing, it's Michael Williams, wide receiver 1. Who can he kind of go away from it and get to? Can they get the ground game going with Austin Eckler? It's going to be tough, but I do think the Chargers win somewhere in the realm of like 21 to 24 points for them and like 14 to 17 for Denver, 14, 15,
I like
whatever
that.
the case may be.
I like that.
So I do like the Chargers covered, but don't have any plays in it.
I'll give you my one play that I'm thinking for tonight. So I have plus 260, plus 3.5 LA Chargers. So teased it a little bit.
Yeah.
Eckler, anytime touchdown, 45 plus rushing yards, and then Herbert 229.5 plus.
I like that, man.
Yeah.
I might have to
the Herbert one, if it depends how the game's going, you know what I mean? If
I see. I like Herbert.
He airs it out. This isn't, I don't know. It is a little different. You can get that in a couple throws. It feels like
100%. Yeah.
And then I followed your lead on that boosted. That's easy decision.
$25. That's all it is, right?
But yeah, that one is plus 260.
I like that, man. I do like that a lot. So I might have to lay
just
that
in case they lose.
But that is going to wrap up this Monday edition of NFL Turf Talk here on DSM Media. Guys, I already mentioned our proud sponsors, our friends over at Gents Barber Lounge. Check them out at www.gentsbarberlounge.com to book your appointment today. Also, check out our friends over at Luxodon Jewelers at shopluxodon.com. At checkout, you can use promo code DSM for 25% off. It's all caps DSM, 25% off. They do offer free shipping as well for men and women's jewelry, chains, bracelets, crosses, whatever you like. They have it all there. And it gets to you pretty quick. For myself, you can find me on Twitter at DylanJD98. To my right, my faithful co-host, Scotty. Check him out at Scotty Drown. And stay locked into at DSM_media on Twitter because there is a ton of content coming out throughout this week after the biggest week in Philly sports history. We have the Faithful Fanatics show, which obviously you guys will not be hearing about this till after the fact. But Faithful Fanatics at 5 today. Turf Talk will be airing at 7. Trending in the AM will have the full DSM cast almost. Tomorrow morning, we're going to have Phillies pregame tomorrow night, Sixers pregame tomorrow night. So much to get into.
Keep
Such a fun time here in Philadelphia. At DSM_media on Twitter. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We greatly appreciate it. Have a great rest of your Monday night, everybody.
Go Birds.